New blade V10. Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you are well. I'm here with Daniel. Today you're going to see from him and from other people in the playtest about the new blade version 10. We're going to review it as in-depth as we can. 4 different models. Blade Pro 100 even. That's only Henrik who has tried that one, but mainly Blade 98, 1619, Blade 98, 1820, and also the Blade 100. Daniel has tried the Blade 98, so we'll ask you, Daniel, what was your feeling? You compare to like the old or the outgoing Blade V9, for example. Like, what would you say?
I think overall it's an improvement, but it's a slight improvement. Like for me, it's still the same. It feels like the same mold, the same setup.
Yeah.
The thing they changed, in my opinion, is that it's a bit stiffer, and you feel that therefore it's a bit more stable on impact, like on every shot basically.
Yeah.
With the blades before, I always thought that I need weight to actually play with them, so they are stable enough through the ball. But these ones I can just pick up and play with them and have no issues with that. Yep. Because I feel when these kind of more control rackets don't have enough weight on them, they are not stable enough, then I get arm issues with that because I feel they're a bit wobbly on contact. Yeah. But this is different now. This is a very good racket as is. So the 1619 and the 1820. If I should compare them, I like the 1820 more, not because of the lift, because you get zero lift, but it has a bit more weight on it, and this makes it even more stable. I think these control rackets need a bit more weight. The 1619 I found a bit too light, but not bad overall. It's still a good racket though. I think it's an improvement overall, and look-wise, it's one of the best they made so far.
The red accent actually looks good. Sometimes they do weird stuff in rackets where you don't like it, but in this one I think it looks pretty cool. Might look good with like a red string as well. 98s, they are like maybe a 10% improvement or something like that, but the stability around the hoop is definitely better, like you said, because it's slightly thicker here. But it's not like it's crazy different. I think if you come from the other one, you will just probably think it's a little bit better and be happy, you know? But you might not need to change if you love the V9, I would say. Like, it's not like 100% needed change, but I think everything, even the cosmetic, as you said, is better, like overall. Like, it's just a better racket. It's still a blade though, so it's not a lot of power. If you go 98, for you, since you're playing 100 square inch these days, I think the Blade Pro with the 1620 pattern and slightly longer could be very interesting, like if you would go away from your pure drive, because that would you still get quite a decent power from, you know. But for you to go back to something like this, I don't see it. You know?
This will not happen. Like also, I feel with these kind of more control rackets, I'm losing a bit of stability on volleys as well. Yeah. And so this is not a switch, but I think like comparing the evolution of the racket, this one is an improvement to the last one for sure.
Yeah, they did the tweaks that made it a little bit more like clean also on impact. I think like the impact is not so dampened, it's more like clean, you know, like it's through the ball. So I like that part of it. And it's not like a switcheroo for me because of it's not enough power. But I think if you love a blade, you love a blade, and you will enjoy it, you know. It does what it's supposed to do pretty well. But also if you want some help, maybe Blade 100 could be something to try. We'll get into that. Eric will comment on the Blade 100 a bit more later in the video, and Henrik will comment on the Blade 100 Pro.
Yeah, this one I didn't try, so I cannot.
Me neither much, no. So those rackets could be easier.
One thing I have to complain every time on these kind of rackets is why is the grip so short?
Yeah,
like
I agree with this.
I play the double-handed, the two-handed backhand, and I always grip the frame up here, and I don't even have like the biggest hands, right? So this I don't understand. Like other brands do it way better because you have so many double-handed players these days. Why is that so short? You see that on the Pro Tour as well. When they play this kind of blade, they go up with the grip up here, so to get even some kind of grip here. So this is something I don't understand. But I complained on the Pro stuff and on the blade many times already about that.
No, but it's a good point because like most players in general these days, I would say definitely most blade users, you go to any futures event or junior events here or whatever, like you're gonna see two-handed backhands 95% of the time. So having more real estate, and now you would need to kind of like, I've seen people like they grip the overgrip up here so that you can be here because this is not comfortable, of course, right? So yeah, it's very tight. Like your hand is kind of leaning over there. Yeah, thanks for your input. Well, tennis nerds, we have Adam here with the new blades, 198, 1619, 1820. Want to hear his opinions about these. They both strung with Torline A5, which suits the racket pretty well, I would say. What was your feeling around the two different string patterns?
Well, first off the bat, I tried the 18 by 20. It's a windy day, and I actually really struggled. I couldn't get the tip of the racket around in time, and I didn't get spin, or since I couldn't get the racket around in time, I was getting no power either. So I have to say I really struggled with the 18 by 20. The 16 by 19 was a totally different story. Instantly, I was able to generate some spin and just opened up a lot more options for me. And in my shots, I was able to hit flat 2, which is what you'd expect with a blade, 98 square inches. I tested the older version extensively last year, and the Blade Pro as well. And I will say that these are somewhat in between the old version of the Blade and then Blade Pro. I feel like they're maybe slightly stiffer than last year's version, just first impressions. And maybe still muted, but a little firmer up top. But I liked them. I actually really liked them, but the 16 by 19 was the clear winner for me. I just can't use the 18 by 20 anymore on a windy day in tough conditions. So
I don't think you're alone. I think the 1820 is kind of seen its like spotlight and probably diminishing a bit now, also on tour and among club players. It's kind of demanding 98, 1820 spec.
agreed.
And you play with TF40, Tecnofiber TF40 1619, so it was pretty seamless transition.
Very similar. It's as I said, they're very comparable, versatile rackets. You don't get the versatility with the 18 by 20. You have to be behind the ball,
yeah.
So your footwork has to work, and you have to, be able to generate the power.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for letting me join the review. First time on the Tennis Nerd channel. Very excited. I got the new blades here. Got the 98 16 by 19 and the 100. We're gonna test them out, see how they do. I'll have a few of my top junior players trying them as well, see what they think about it. In the beginning, we tested out the Blade 98 16 by 19, and it's a really good update. I like it more than the previous version that I didn't enjoy as much. I think the feel on this one is really nice. I don't know if it's the glossy paint job or some of the other things that they've changed in the racket, but it plays a little bit more with a little bit more spin and a little bit more pop, and it just feels really good. Almost like a racket that doesn't have any dampening tech, but without a harsh vibration. What do you guys think about it?
So I used a V-Core 95, and I just tried the blade out today, and this racket is not as whippy, and it feels like the ball you can just hit through the court more. But I do feel like sometimes the ball just kind of leaves the racket quicker than I want it.
We have the new Blade V10 blade, one of the most popular rackets on the market, alongside the Arrow. A little bit thicker, a little bit more pop. Green still, looking good. What's the first feeling when you took the 1619? That was the racket that is kind of the most popular one and that you tried first. What was your first sensation?
I'm a big fan of the blade line. I used the V9 for quite some time. Mm-hmm. It's one of the 5 sticks that I have in my bag. You know what you're gonna get from it. It's got a really pure response. I would say it's a good update. Maybe 5% better than the last version. Yeah. And the last version was a good, I think a very good stick.
I like it.
Very good stick. Very pure. For me, I like to feel something that's easy to swing on the backhand. Mm-hmm. And this one, it cuts through butter like a knife. So in terms of power, I know it's supposed to have a little bit more power, I think, with a thicker beam. Mm-hmm. It was, maybe slightly, but not extremely more powerful, I think, than the last version. Mm-hmm. But very good control, which kind of what you expect from a blade.
Yeah, I think it's a control racket. So what players want is a sensation of knowing what happens after you hit the ball, which you do get. I think it's a little bit less muted, more direct, but not crisp. It's not a stiff racket by any means. I would say that's maybe a 5% power increase.
Yeah, it's got a great dwell time, which is kind of what you want for redirecting the ball.
Yeah.
I think just kind of, going line, deeper balls where you kind of just want to absorb pace. Yeah. This is a great racket for that. It sits in the string bed long enough where you can kind of feel the ball, kind of guide it. Versus I would say, but thicker beam rackets, dwell time's a lot shorter, so it kind of pops off your racket.
The angle of when you're hitting the ball needs to be a little bit more precise, because otherwise, obviously, you're going to launch it, right? Or it's going to go long. Here, you can actually really control the racket face kind of easily, and it's going to give you exactly what you put in. I would still say the 1820 has quite a significantly smaller target group, because it's kind of difficult to use Relatively speaking, it's higher swing weight with all like a denser pattern, even if the weight is the same. Definitely for an audience that like they just want the max precision possible. They want to hammer like flat cannons or play with like really small margins. For 95% of everyone, I think the 1619 of the 98 is the way to go. I think that was also our favorite from talking to you.
Yep.
I have not tested this one as much. I just want to mention that it's like the Blade 100 is kind of an interesting option. The shape can irk some. It did irk Eric a bit, and I kind of second that. Like it's kind of very round for a tennis racket, but it does give you kind of a forgiving sweet spot. I'd still go 98 in this case though, even though I like some hundreds. But it's a good feeling frame, good comfort, gives you a bit of extra power, a bit extra forgiveness, but you can't like compete in control with the 98, I would say.
Hey guys, I'm back. Had a chance to try the Blade 100 a little bit more during live ball last night, and yeah, had a fun play test. I think it's a great racket for someone that's a 4.0, 4.5 range, medium swing speed, looking for something, you know, that's a little more forgiving outside the sweet spot zone. You can see it's a fairly round shaped racket. Compared to the 98, it's definitely a little wider, and the head size, and it's a little more dense in the middle. As you can see, string pattern kind of opens up on the outside edges. And yeah, I think it has really good pop for, you know, 100 square inch racket. And it's a good balance of pop and feel, because it's a, you know, relatively thinner beam racket. So yeah, I think it's great for someone that wants a little more juice on the serve, and a little more forgiveness on outside the sweet spot zone. I personally had to choose a racket. I go with the 98. I used the 98 in the past and I loved it. And I think the new version is pretty close to the old version. I didn't think they needed to make too many updates to it. Maybe has a little bit more power, about no more than like maybe 5%, at least for me. But yeah, both were fun to play with, and I'm actually really excited to try the 1620 Blade Pro, which I think drops later this year. I think that's definitely a good racket to look out for if you're looking for a larger head size, but want that like tighter string pattern for a more connected response, and hopefully maybe even a little more stability. But yeah, you know, I think they did a great job with the Blade updates. Nothing like drastically different, but I thought the V9s were really good in general. So kudos to Wilson. And yeah, looking forward to trying out more blades this year, and stay tuned.
And for the 100, it was a really good all-around racket, definitely more power and more stable, but you can't maneuver it as easily as the 98. But it does give you a little bit extra for length.
I use the Yonex E-Zone 100, and this has a little less power than the E-Zone, but it has a lot more controls, and that helps my game a lot.
Yeah, so you want to keep testing it because you're considering that one.
I would love to keep testing those and check out some different customization and string setups to get my full opinion on them. Also try out the Blade 98 18x20 that is more similar to the racket I'm currently using, which is the Head Prestige. The full review for the Blade will be on my new YouTube channel called The Tennis Blueprint. Hope you go check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Jonas, for letting me join this review.
The most positive thing is the Wilson Blade Pro 100. When we did the review 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, about the Steam and that Wilson should bring it back, we talked also about the Steam 100, and now it's back again, and it will be called the Blade 100 Pro with the Steam mold. Feels wonderful. I played quite a lot with it. I had to send it back because they only had one sample, but I played a lot with it, and I already have ordered 2 of those rackets, and that's the racket I will get this weekend. So I played really, really well with that racket. So it will be interesting to try it in the long term.
Did you try the other blades, or was it mainly the Blade Pro you've been testing?
I tried the Blade Pro 100, and because I liked it so much and had it for a very short period, I played with it a lot more than the 98 1619 and 98 1820. But I did try those. I had the same string setup in all 3. Laxolon ALU Power 125, 21 kilos with 10% pre-stretch, because I like to pre-stretch the ALU Power so they keep tension maintenance a little bit better. So I tried it the same in all. The 100 Pro is for me the absolute best, most effective, easiest to use. The Blade 98, both string versions, they are, if you compare to the older, the generation 8 and 9, this version it gives maybe a little bit more power. I think the frame is 1 millimeter thicker, actually. So maybe a little bit more solid, but still a pretty demanding racket. It's a racket for, I would say the 98 is for like pro players or like really good amateur players. If you are not like a top, let's say you are 5.5 in the rating and above, then you should use maybe a 98. But below that, with our level, for example, I would say the 100 or the 100 Pro is much better for us, because the 98 is very demanding still. It's a good control frame, very good feel. The 98 1619 has of course more spin, and the 1820 more control. But the sweet spot is still on both frames pretty small, and not so forgiving. So it's a racket for really good players, I would say.
So overall, like, I think we are positive about this update. I feel like they are an improvement. They are a slight improvement. It's not like a major wow, I'm going to switch straight away. But from the V9, it's going to be pretty seamless transition. And I don't think anything is worse, for sure, with these rackets. It's just like a pretty steady, rock solid, kind of safe upgrade. New mold, so that's appreciated. That's cool. It's just not a cosmetic or like a layup change. That's actually a new mold and a bit more pop, but it's not like a huge increase where you're going to compete with E-zones. You know, it's more like, you know, they have the Ultra, they already have these the P rackets coming. So I think this one for a control frame, a little bit more pop, nice feel on impact, just a very good control racket. 1619 our favorite, I would say.
Yeah, great update. I would say 5% better, like I said earlier. If you're a Blade user, you'll be happy.
Yep.
As long as you like the cosmetic, which can be a little subjective, but I think it looks great.
Blade Pro, we haven't tried. That's the old Steam BLX mold, Steam BLX 100, that's used by so many WTA players. We didn't get that one. Henrik tried that already. He said it's great, so that could be a sleeper among the bunch. At some point I'll try it for sure, but I think that would be good. That's obviously a true and tested mold with some layup tweaks as far as I understood. So new blades, I think that we're gonna have a tough year to choose as a consumer. Coming summer, when you have more releases, it's gonna be very difficult. So you got a demo. New blades, check them out. Tennis Warehouse Europe, tennis only. They're my affiliate partners. It's a good update, and they're gonna be more exciting rackets to come. So make sure you demo and see what can work for you. There's the Tennis Nerd consultation if you don't know and you need some in-depth help. Have a nice day now, and
don't forget to play more tennis.